I think what we're going to discover is that how you move around in time is not determined by the laws of physics, but determined by cultural programming. And that this is what's going to tear open shamanism and yoga and some of these other things. We are far more imprisoned by cultural convention than we are by physical law.
All right, Terence. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Terence McKenna. Where are you, please?
Good morning, Mr. Bell. This is Robert in the San Joaquin Valley in California.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I have two questions. But, Mr. Bell, I'd like to say first, I heard earlier on the news that scientists have discovered a substance in cats' brains that enable them to, when they take cat naps, if you recall, when they wake up, it's instantaneous and they're very alert. They said that this will lead within the next 2 to 3 years a sleeping pill for humans without side effects, where when they wake up, they will wake up instantly and alert.
And we shall call it the catnap pill. Fascinating.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Terence, sir.
Sure.
Fascinating, sir. I'm really enjoying listening to you. I have two quick questions. The first one, for most of my life, I heard people say that everyone has dreams. I never recalled a dream, and about 8 years ago there was a scientific report that stated that there is approximately 5% of the population of people that do not have dreams. When I go to sleep, it's like a rock. And I wanted to mention that, and then I'll give you my second question. I'll listen to you.
The little slice of death.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Terence?
The last question, Mr. Bell had a guest, Ed Daines, remote viewer.
Oh, yes.
He mentioned in his remote viewing, he could not see beyond 2000, was it 12, Mr. Bell?
Yep.
Now, and Christians refer to the rapture. I'm just wondering what your take would be on all of this.
All right. Very good. Both good questions. Let's tackle the easiest one first, dreams. I'm not aware of a study that suggests that 5% of the population doesn't dream. Most of the people I've talked to suggest that everybody dreams. Maybe 5% don't remember them. And we were talking about dreams earlier with respect to DMT. So could there be people, in your opinion, Terence, who do not dream at all, therefore have no DMT spikes at all?
Well, it's interesting. I would have thought, as you suggested, that everybody dreams, but some people don't remember it. But it is true that I would guess 1 in 20 people don't respond to DMT. This is very puzzling. They simply do not respond to it. And, of course, this has never been studied because it's an underground drug. But there may well be, it may be that dreaming is something recently arriving in human evolution and not something we can just take for granted.
So then, are we to presume that those who do not dream have not sufficiently evolved?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way.
Too cruel, huh?
You know, everybody has different genetic strengths and differences. Maybe they've got a hell of a backswing. I don't know. Or,
to be fair, perhaps we could suggest they are the ones who have evolved past the need for it. I want to be kind to them, Terence.
There you go.
All right, hold on, Terence. Rest, and when we come back, we'll tackle the second part of the question, which involves remote viewing and the realm in which that occurs. Fascinating stuff. Terence McKenna, right back. This is CB's.
On the Labor Day edition of the best of Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. From May of 1997, it's Art and his guest, the late Terence McKenna. Art Bell will be back live on the air tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And now, enjoy this encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
Once again, here I am. Good morning. Terence McKenna is my guest, and oh, what a wide variety of reactions, indeed, we're receiving. To some, Terence is a heretic. He's dabbling in the black arts, witchcraft, magic, perhaps even the Antichrist. To others, this kind of reaction, Art, I'm a computer artist programmer. Consider myself a very intelligent person. I've been listening with absolute fascination. I think that your guest is right on the mark. It explains everything very succinctly. It's brilliant, period. That's Dave in Milwaukee. And we'll get back to Terence in a moment. Okay, back to Terence McKenna on the Big Island of Hawaii. Terence, remote viewing, I'm certain you know what that is.
Sure.
Sure, good, okay. What realm are remote viewers operating in your view? Is it the same realm that one might achieve through various methods, including the chemical method you referred to?
Well, I'm sure you've heard about Bell's non-locality theorem and the rise of the idea of non-local information in quantum physics. I think what we're going to have to face is the idea that through the imagination, all information throughout space and time is somehow accessible. The body tends to localize consciousness because consciousness associated with the body has developed to protect the body, basically as a threat detection device. But the imagination, which we tend to think of as something we make up or we create, I think is actually something we're embedded in. And if you can filter out the noise sufficiently, something like viewing at a distance, remote viewing, these things are a commonplace in these shamanic and psychedelic societies.
But even aside from those, in the discipline, now when I say remote viewing, I refer to the discipline that the armed services came up with to spy. Naturally, of course, you know, the armed services are going to use it for a military purpose, and it was to spy. Now, in that process, there are very specific protocols that endeavor to erase the imagination, ensuring the purity of the information received.
Well, this is the projective imagination of the individual meeting the incoming signal of the great beyond, the great whatever it is. And yes, I think a talented remote viewer is someone almost empty of projection so that they can actually feel or intuit the incoming signal. I imagine it's a very delicate thing, but I also imagine with the proper kind of feedback to tell you when you're doing well, it's probably something that could be coaxed out of most people. As I said in the last hour, we're more imprisoned by what we think of as culture than by the laws of physics.
All right. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Terence McKenna in Hawaii. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Where are you?
I'm Richard, and I'm in St. Peters, Missouri.
All right.
Mr. McKenna has been giving me some insight. I have been working with a system of divination called geomancy, and it consists of the generation of figures consisting of points. I use dice to generate the figures. Once the figures are generated, then a reading, in other words, a combination of figures, gives insight into future events. It would seem as though I've been working on this for 3 years, and I've gotten it down to the point where I've got a card reading system that is basically self-programmable, which to me is fascinating because my clients have in some way focused on the dice to create the pattern, and in so creating the pattern, I get insight into when things are going to occur and what things will happen to them, and it's on the money. Yeah, I'd love to say it's 100%, but it would suggest to me, other than synchronicity, that consciousness with a simple focus, dice, can travel through time, which I believe is what Mr. McKenna
is talking about. Well, maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. It's the same idea, or it sounds like the same idea, but perhaps without the same documentation and a flawless performance. Terence?
Well, you know, all over the world there are these divinatory systems. Chinese geomancy, tarot cards, the Maya have a system of throwing crystals and small rocks. And skeptics who deal with these things, who are usually anti the paranormal